Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to tackle the age-old debate of quantity versus quality. And spoiler alert, you get quality through quantity. That's right, I said it. Now, before I fully explain why I believe this and what it means for you, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and thank you if you already were. It means a lot to me. So let's really break this down from a couple of angles. Number one, I think too often, as Steven Pressfield would say, we can use quality as a form of resistance with a capital R. Meaning we don't do something, we don't put something out simply because it doesn't quote unquote have the quality. It lacks quality. Therefore, we don't want to put it out. So we digress, we procrastinate, and so forth, right? And listen, by no means with this episode am I advocating to put out crap work. Trust me, I'm not going to name names, but even in my own circle, there's a few people that I know that, they just put out kind of stuff just to put it out. And I'm like, at the end of the day, you want to be able to put your foot, you want to kind of be able to stand behind it in some sense, rather than just like pumping something out just to pump something out. However, in life, and this is something that me and my friends discuss constantly, is you never know what's going to hit with somebody. And it's kind of like saying all you can do is control what you can control. And when you put it out there, how it's perceived, that's how it's going to be perceived, right? And to that effect, this notion that you have the silver bullet of hitting your target demo, you don't. You're not. And the only way you're going to start to kind of become better at understanding is if you put out more stuff and people react to it. You start to gauge of like what's resonating and what's not. Okay? And there's this notion that by putting out quantity work, meaning like, just multiple things, that if something doesn't live up quality-wise, that you're a failure. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Take even someone like a Bob Dylan. He just constantly put out music. And, you go over his greatest hits, he's got a lot of great hits. But when you then compare it versus like overall music made by Bob Dylan, there's some clunkers in there. No different than like Steven Spielberg, Great movies. Not all of them though, right? And so, and by the way, even with those, like some of the ones that, let's say for Steven Spielberg or Bob Dylan or any other artist in the world, I could look at something and be like, ooh, this is a great piece of work. And for somebody else, I'm like, that was garbage. So quality is subjective at the end of the day, right? But as Gary Vee talks about, quantity is not. And this is really kind of important because we find the quality by the quantity. Another notion, Seth Godin, he doesn't believe in writer's block, because any writer that comes up to him and says, hey, I have writer's block, he automatically says, show me all your bad writing. And what he means by this is we're just, the reason why a writer gets blocked is because they don't want to create bad writing. But in order to get to the good writing, you have to put out all the bad writing, right? I mean, let's be honest. The way you get to quality is through revision. And the only way you get to revision is by putting out, almost expunging yourself of the crap. That's kind of like another secret to this is, yes, put out a lot of work, but you don't have to publish all of it. You just have to get it out of you and onto something else, Some people do morning pages. I mean, this is, like, I know musicians, right? My friend Will Knox, like there's plenty of music that he hasn't released, but he needed to make that music in order to then make the music that he does put out. So the way you get to quality is through quantity. And so we got to stop thinking of them not as separate, but as integral. Because when you think of them as separate, as I said, as I opened up, you can use it as a crutch to never put out anything. And you don't want to do that. Don Miguel Ruiz has the notion, always do your best. And so when you're starting out, not everything's going to be the best. But if it is your best at the point in time which you made it, then you can have no regrets. And that's the way you got to really look at it. And so for me, part of it is, it's not to say you have to there's a number of ways to interpret it. You could put out, commit to putting out a blog post every single day. For me, I've committed to putting out basically an episode a day. You don't necessarily have to do that. With my novels, with my writing, with my, films, I've chosen I'm going to commit to working on it every single day. And as long as I make progress, then I'm good, right? And so, the quantity is in the hours that I continue to put in every single day, day in and day out, versus the output of, the movies, the books, and so forth. And ironically, by doing it that way, I'm finding that I am slowly building now. That's kind of, it speaks to a larger effect of we overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what we can do in 10 years. And so when you just focus on doing the work, you will start to, that's essentially the quantity aspect of it. You will get to the quality. So in a sense, what it really boils down to is just do the work. You say you want to be an artist, you say you want to be a content creator, great. So stop slacking, get off your ass, and do those things. Whatever it is. If it's painting, if it's writing poetry, if it's composing music, writing, whatever the case may be, dancing, right? All those things. In a weird way, I almost find it ironic that I know so many host friends, and yet I host more than them. I do. More than a lot, certainly, because I do these episodes, day in and day out for the most part. And they're not. Sometimes they don't host anything for a month. And that's sad to me. It's, to that effect, it's you can also look at someone who's an actor and it's I get you're kind of waiting, acting is this kind of craft where you have to wait for somebody to put you in a movie, but that's only one aspect of it. You can continue to work on the craft day in and day out. Do TikTok monologues from movies. Put that out, right? So get creative with your craft, so you can put out quantity and therefore get to quality. Okay? That's my message to you. I hope you take that to heart and really do something with it. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate you. If you have any questions or thoughts of your own, please, by all means, share, whether down in the comment section or hit me up on social media at Phil Svitek. I would certainly love to hear from you. And to that effect, if you think this message would be of benefit to somebody, then by all means, please share it with them. I certainly would appreciate it. And I appreciate you. I hope to see you next time.